Hey there, Bears fans. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any NFL updates. Let's get into it. It's safe to say, by the end of Matt Eberflus' time with the Chicago Bears, Jaylon Johnson was not a fan. After the Bears' Thanksgiving Day loss to the Detroit Lions, Johnson let loose in the locker room. It was raw, it was honest, and it might have been the final straw. The very next day, Eberflus was fired. Now, was it because of what Johnson said? Maybe, maybe not. But one thing was clear. That team had stopped listening. The message? Lost. The locker room? Gone. Jaylon Johnson didn't hold back. And fans respected it. So what do you think? Was Johnson's rant the reason Eberflus got fired? Or was it already a done deal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you're rocking with the truth. And don't forget to subscribe. The Chicago Bears began their off-season workout program on Monday. The team met with head coach Ben Johnson and his coaching staff for the first time. They were also allowed to begin team and positional meetings to prepare for the 2025 season. Attendance was not mandatory, but most of the roster did attend these meetings. On Tuesday, multiple players met with the media, including star cornerback Jaylon Johnson. The two-time Pro Bowl cornerback expressed his excitement about playing for new defensive coordinator Dennis Allen and revealed what his role will be for the 2025 defense. The Bears cornerback revealed to the media that the Bears are expected to play more man coverage in 2025. When former head coach Matt Eberflus was running the defense, the team used more of a zone coverage scheme, especially in third down situations, making it very predictable for other offenses. Johnson expressed his excitement regarding playing more man defense as well. Another very interesting note is that Johnson revealed what his main role will be in Dennis Allen's defense. Johnson revealed that his job will be to lock up number one. Johnson is expecting to primarily stay on the side as the number one wide receiver on the opposing team. Jaylon Johnson says his job in Dennis Allen's scheme will be to lock up number one. He expects to travel with the number one WR, and he's excited to play more man defense. #Bears. Jaylon Johnson expressed excitement about playing more man in Dennis Allen's defense. Number one on number one, that's what I train for dogs eat up front, and we'll cover on the back end. Playing man coverage is what I feel like I'm the best at. In years past, Johnson has primarily stayed on a specific side of the field due to the scheme that Eberflus was running. With Dennis Allen in charge of the defense now, Johnson will be able to lock up with top receivers in the NFL. Johnson will have one of the most important roles on the defense and is expected to have another Pro Bowl caliber season in 2025. The Chicago Bears added a cornerback to their roster on Tuesday. The move comes as the Bears are on day 2 of their Phase 1 off-season training program. The Bears are allowed to have 90 players on their roster during the off-season. On Monday, Chicago re-signed 5 players for day 1 of OTAs. The Bears added a cornerback that the Minnesota Vikings released on Monday, months after the team made a trade to acquire him. Per a statement by the Bears, the team signed veteran cornerback Nahshon Wright to a 1-year deal. Wright joins the Bears after spending last season with the Minnesota Vikings, 2024, following his first 3 professional seasons as a member of the Dallas Cowboys, 2021 to 23. Since entering the league as a third-round selection, 99th overall, by Dallas in the 2021 NFL Draft, Wright has appeared in 33 career regular season games, 3 starts, totaling 31 tackles, 23 solo, with 1 interception and 5 passes defensed, adding 1 postseason appearance with the Cowboys in 2023. Prior to the start of last season, Wright was traded to the Minnesota Vikings, seeing action in 1 game for the Vikings, spending the entirety of the season on Minnesota's practice squad. Right on Call Me Hand. We have signed Nahshon Wright to a 1-year contract. Multiple players on the Chicago Bears roster met with the media on Tuesday following the start of the Bears' voluntary off-season program. The team got to meet with head coach Ben Johnson and his coaching staff for the very first time this year. It looks like the Bears head coach is already winning over multiple players in the locker room. Starting linebacker Tremaine Edmunds revealed to the media that Johnson gave a fiery message to the Bears roster at the start of OTAs. Johnson's message to the team was simple, but effective. Tremaine Edmonds is up and says the team met with Ben Johnson for the first time, and his message was the time is to win now, and how he was very intense and had control of a locker room, which he said is rare for a first-time coach. Edmonds explained to the media that you could feel the confidence and intensity that Johnson brings to the team, and also referred to him as the real deal. The Bears have improved their roster on both sides of the ball this offseason, specifically in the trenches. They added players such as Joe Thuney, Grady Jarrett, Drew Dalman, and Jonah Jackson. With the NFL draft coming up, they will have more opportunities to make the roster even better for the 2025 season. It seems that the Bears coaching staff has very high expectations for the team. Hopefully, Chicago will have a much improved season in 2025. The Chicago Bears started phase one of their off-season training program on Monday. New head coach Ben Johnson had a chance to meet with players and begin installing his vision for the Bears in 2025. Monday was a big day for Johnson, a first-time head coach after 3 seasons as a successful offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, to set his tone as head coach of the team. It was also an important day for quarterback Caleb Williams, who is working with his 3rd head coach and 4th offensive coordinator in just his 2nd season in the league. His first offensive coordinator, Shane Warden, was fired because he didn't coach up Williams enough. Williams spoke with the media on Tuesday. In an answer to a question about how Johnson would push Williams out of his comfort zone, the number 1 pick in the 2024 draft said Johnson already had by giving him a pop quiz on Tuesday. Today we had our first quiz in the TV room, Williams said. And it's not like a real quiz where you go up and write stuff. It's just us. We went over a few things like yesterday, talked about a few things. And Ben walked in this morning, flung open the door, made a grand entrance. Everybody loves a challenge in this sport, Williams said. It's one of the great things about the sport. Every day is a challenge. And today we got our first one. Williams understands that he needs Johnson to push him this offseason so he can take a leap in 2025 at the sport's most important position. If you have that position, quarterback, right, it helps with a bunch of different things, Williams said. So building that bond, him pushing me, and us growing together for years to come. It's going to be fun. I can't wait. And to be able to help me learn more about ball, because he's super smart, super sharp. Under former head coach Matt Eberflus, the Chicago Bears defense relied heavily on the bend, don't break philosophy. He almost never blitzed and ran an old-school style of the Tampa, too. But that's all in the past now, as new defensive coordinator Dennis Allen is going to bring a much more aggressive, man-heavy scheme to Chicago. Chicago struggled mightily against the run in 2024, and it stands to reason that Dennis Allen will want to change that right away. While the return of Andrew Billings should help, he might also want to add a solid run stuffer through the draft. That's where Collins comes in. Listed as the draft's best run stopper by Bowen, Collins brings terrific size and a great football IQ to the table. Collins would be the final piece in a truly nasty rotation of run-stuffing defensive tackles, and would help out the linebackers too. Getting pressure on quarterbacks from the middle of the line has become increasingly important in modern NFL defenses, and arguably no one in college was better at this in 2020 than Walter Nolan. He racked up 6.5 sacks last season, impressive numbers for a 3-tech. Nolan would be a good insurance pick to cover for aging veterans like Billings and Grady Jarrett, and could eventually develop into a true monster of the midway. Depending on who you ask, this is the most important trait for a defensive lineman. A guy who never gives up on a play is a guy who can change the outcome of a game with a timely sack or a chase down tackle. That's what Mason Graham would bring to the Bears, on top of his incredible talent. Graham has a higher ceiling than anyone else on Chicago's defensive line right now, and it's easy to imagine Dennis Allen developing him into an all-time great Chicago Bear. One of the freakiest athletes in this draft, Williams presents a total package of traits. He's fast, he's got great size at 6'5" and 260 pounds, and he has long arms, measuring just under 34.5 inch at the NFL combine. These are natural tools that he can lean on while he continues to develop and refine his game. Considering the immense hype, Caleb Williams' rookie season was disappointing. His 63.5 passing grade was the lowest among the 24 QBs, with at least 400 dropbacks, and his 73.4% adjusted completion rate ranked 21st. The Chicago Bears started the season 4-2. Still, they lost the next 10 games, and head coach Matt Eberflus was shown the door after a Thanksgiving Day loss to the Detroit Lions that featured an embarrassing time management snafu on the final drive, which Williams certainly shares blame for. In January, the Bears hired Ben Johnson to take over the vacant head position. Considered by many to be one of the top candidates available this offseason, he comes to Chicago via Detroit, where he coordinated one of the best offenses in football the past 2 seasons. In 2024, his Lions offense had a positive EPA, expected points added, on 50.6% of plays, and their 0.171 EPA per play was second best in the league, behind only the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, the production difference between the Bears and Lions offenses last year was immense, but the schematic and philosophical differences were every bit as startling. Detroit ran the ball 517 times in the regular season, the second highest mark in the league, behind only the Philadelphia Eagles. The Bears ran the ball 379 times, good for just 26th. Only 43.9% of the Lions snaps were from shotgun, and just a single snap all season was operated out of pistol, the third lowest mark in the NFL. The Bears were in the middle of the pack, ranking 15th at 67.5%. Detroit also ran play action at a 37.6% rate, for 0.1% higher than the next highest club, Los Angeles Chargers, while the Bears' 17.6% was second lowest, behind only the Atlanta Falcons. Screen passes accounted for just 5.5% of the Lions' plays, while the Bears used them at a 10.5% rate. The Lions and Bears may play in the same division, but last year, the offensive playing styles were in 2 different galaxies. Bears faithful will need to be patient with the Johnson/Williams connection, as their adaptation to each other will take some time. Williams' 2023 offense at USC more closely resembled the 2024 Bears offense than it did the Lions, meaning Johnson is likely to ask his young signal caller to operate in a manner he has little experience with. USC ran the ball just 36% of offensive plays in 2023, the 4th lowest mark among all Power 5 schools. The Trojans operated out of shotgun a staggering 95.5% of snaps, and another 1.7% was out of pistol. Play action is something Williams is more familiar with from back to his USC days, as the 2023 Trojans ranked 11th among Power 5 schools by using play action at a 40.4% clip. However, his screen usage was even higher, 16.2%, the highest percentage in the nation. Despite the absurdly high screen usage, Williams' average time to throw was 3.19 seconds, the second highest mark in the Power 5. This carried over last season with the Bears, as his 3.04 second average time to throw was the 4th highest in the league. Lions QB Jared Goff's 2.71 second average time to throw ranked 12th lowest. His play also struggled when he held onto the ball longer in 2024, as his 66.9% adjusted completion rate on plays with an average time to throw over 2.5 seconds was the 4th worst. Much was made throughout the season about the Bears' poor pass protection, but Williams brought a significant amount of pressure on himself. He was charged with 17 sacks, the highest total in the league among quarterbacks, and his 38 total pressures charged was tied for 3rd most. Conversely, Goff was responsible for just 7.1% of Detroit's pressures, the 3rd lowest mark among QBs, with at least 100 pressure drawbacks. The time to throw and own pressure stats are critical for Williams because they suggest he is holding onto the ball too long and struggling to make decisions. These were not issues with Goff in Detroit, despite the Lions' lack of screen plays and the extremely high play action usage from under center. This raises a significant red flag, as it suggests that Johnson's scheme in Detroit does not mesh well with some of the things Williams has struggled with most during his young career in both college and the NFL. While Johnson surely will look to use Williams under center at a rate he hasn't experienced to this point, he doesn't have to ask his young signal caller to take 7-step drops on every snap. As mentioned earlier, Johnson loved using play action in Detroit, and Williams had success with this in college, albeit primarily out of the gun. Johnson could also increase his usage of the quick game, not just with screens, but with RPOs as well. USC used RPOs on 32.5% of plays with Williams at the helm in 2023, the 7th highest percentage among the Power 5, and the Bears ranked 11th last season by using them on 10.5% of their snaps. Detroit only used RPOs at a 5.5% rate, certainly a function of playing under center so much, but there is a medium ground Johnson should look to find here. The good news for the Bears is that the defense is in excellent shape and doesn't have any true glaring needs that require attention early in the draft. The defensive line needed upgrades in terms of the pass rush this offseason, and the Bears were able to accommodate via free agency by signing D.I. Grady Jarrett and Edge Deo Odiengbo. The interior offensive line was the primary focus on the other side of the ball, as the Bears signed center Drew Dalman and traded for veteran guards Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson. While they could look to finish off the line with a left tackle at pick number 10, they may not deem this necessary considering Braxton Jones returns, albeit after a season that ended early with a broken ankle, and 2024 third-round selection Kieran Amagaji now has a year under his belt. The offensive line and the entire defensive unit stability should allow Chicago to focus its early-round draft efforts on finding more quality skill players for Williams. The obvious need is at running back, as current starter DeAndre Swift has already been traded once by a Ben Johnson team. The Lions traded him to the Eagles for a day 3 pick in 2023. His contract will likely prevent the Bears from being able to move on from him this offseason. Cutting him would cost the franchise between $8 to $10 million, depending on the designation, and with minimal cap savings. But with the outstanding depth in this draft's running back class, now is the time to strike. Boise State phenom Ashton Janney would be a worthy target, but plenty of talent will be available on day 2 of the draft as well. Arizona State's Cameron Skitebo may not have Janney's open field speed, but he's an excellent tackle breaker in his own right, 103 forced missed tackles on the ground, 13 after the catch in 2024. He also had significant production in the receiving game, something Johnson is sure to covet. He caught 44 balls for 543 yards, 199 of them earned after initial contact. He was also used in a variety of alignments, as he had 21 reps from the slot and 30 out wide, the highest total among the backs ranked in the top 200 of the PFF Big Board. Interestingly enough, last season in Detroit, it wasn't Johnson's lightning back, Jahmyr Gibbs, who graded out best in the league as a receiver. It was actually the Thunder back, David Montgomery. His 90.7 receiving grade led all NFL backs last year, bolstered by his 18 forced missed tackles, the 3rd highest total for backs after receptions. Skitebo is a unique and versatile talent who is likely to be available at either of Chicago's second-round picks number 39 and 41. With running back solutions available on day 2, the Bears can instead look to take another wide receiver to replace the departed Keenan Allen. This being said, when considering the capital they currently have invested in veteran stud DJ Moore and 2024 9th overall pick Rome Odunze, the best course of action would be to instead target either of the 2 elite tight end prospects available in this class. I suggested 2 weeks ago that the Bears could consider trading back from pick number 10 to select Penn State TE Tyler Warren, but numerous projections have him currently in high demand. Considering he sits at number 8 overall on the PFF Big Board, he appears well worth the pick the Bears currently hold. Johnson would love the versatility of his game, as over the past 2 seasons, he played a combined 345 inline snaps and 351 from the slot. Last season, on 104 catches for 1,230 yards, he forced 19 missed tackles, 2nd highest in the class, and ranked 3rd in the class with 13 contested catches. Michigan's Colston Loveland is the other top tight end, and while he is ranked 25th on our board, his ability to run precise routes and consistently create separation out of his breaks would also make him a great fit in Chicago. His 90.6 receiving grade was 3rd best in the country last college season. Warren's 93.4 was good for 2nd. With running back and tight end addressed, the Bears still have 2 more picks on day 2 of the draft to find premium players for the offense. This is where they should look to address left tackle and wide receiver to fill out the rest of the roster. Oregon's Josh Connolly Jr. ranks 36th on the PFF Big Board and would be a solid choice for the Bears in round 2. Connolly had a strong showing at the Combine last month, measuring in at 6'5" and 311 pounds, while posting a 5.05-second 40-yard dash and jumping a 34.5-inch vertical. He started the last 2 seasons for the Ducks at left tackle, and on 1,007 combined pass block snaps, he surrendered just 2 sacks and 4 hits. The Bears also owned pick number 72 in the 3rd round, and for that selection, I love the idea of rounding out the receiving core with Iowa State's Jalen Noel, who sits at number 77 on the PFF Big Board. Noel's outstanding combine, 4.39-second 40-yard dash, 41.5-inch vertical, 11-foot, 2 broad jump, and 6.82-second 3-cone drill was no surprise for those who followed him at Iowa State, as he is a smooth and explosive athlete who runs technically proficient routes. He converted 46 of his 80 catches last season into first downs, 8 into scores, and despite his 5'10", 194-pound frame, he snagged 13 of 25 contested targets. He would provide Chicago with a second receiving weapon able to create separation consistently out of his breaks, as well as give them instant insurance for DJ Moore. Ultimately, while the core of the roster is solid, the Bears will only go as far as Caleb Williams can take them. Again, there's certain to be a transition period for both him and his new head coach, but Chicago has the draft capital available to give him all the help he requires to succeed. NBA official highlights. It's safe to say that by the time Matt Eberflus' tenure with the Chicago Bears was nearing its end, Jalen Johnson was not a fan. Whether Johnson's locker room rant after the Bears' Thanksgiving Day loss to the Detroit Lions last season played a factor in Eberflus firing the following day or not, it was clear that his team was no longer following the former head coach's message.